Hey, this is Mike McCready, your host on episode 80 of the Hookblast Podcast. Welcome to one of the best 10 minutes of your week. Well, at least 5 minutes of the show will be good. Well, okay, there's a solid 30 seconds of the show you'll absolutely love. This is the podcast where we discover a few new catchy songs. You add the ones you love to your own streaming playlists or follow mine, which you can find at hookblast.com. Rock out with these songs all week, and the next week we repeat. Okay, but before you say anything, I know it might not be a convenient time to absorb the meaningful lyrics and the beautiful messages contained in some of these songs. So one way I like to recommend listening to this show is in your headphones as you're falling asleep. That way the messages can get into your brain subconsciously, you know, like they do in North Korea with patriotic songs. Or as they call them, songs. Well, New York is back, baby. Back to its normal self. I was worried that Hurricane Ida was going to make Manhattan a place that can only be visited with a glass-bottomed boat or scuba gear. But nope, the city survived again. In fact, a few days ago, I was walking with my wife along 57th Street, and a guy whistles and says, "Nice ass." Well, that kind of upset my wife, who demanded I say something. So I just turned around and said, "Thank you. I've been working out." Anyway, let's play some hooks. Up first on the show today is a song about getting back up and laughing in the faces of those who tried to keep you down. I know something about that. I looked up my 4th grade teacher, you know, the one who told me I'd never amount to anything. And I told her all about my company and my successful podcast. I'm not sure she heard me, though, because it was raining pretty hard at the cemetery. I'm not even positive I had the right headstone, because, you know, there are a lot of Ruth Bensons. Anyway, this is returning band Sea of Satellites with their song, Revelator. That was Revelator. I know something about revelations. I had a revelation that I'm a unique, incredible, God-created creature like no other on the planet. But the librarian wasn't impressed, and she said I still have to pay the late fees for the book. And right behind Sea of Satellites is a song by country performer Sassy VeZay. It's about a country gal who wishes her man were faithful. But since her wish isn't likely to come true, she's kicking off her cowboy boots and finding someone new. I remember when I had the same realization about a girl I was trying to ask out. I sent her a note, but got caught, and Mr. Nelson read it out loud in front of the whole 3rd grade class. And then he used my note for the rest of the year as an example of poor English. Anyway, I had to find someone new to ask out. From a different town. This is Slow Dance.
I'm gonna hit my squirrel high, loose and button down on my blouse. I paint my lipstick on red and watch mama look back in shame. Oh yeah. So tell me, honey, how a warm man woman stays alone here right next to you. I ain't waiting for the slow. I wanna pick myself up and give me a stare.
Okay, we're at the part of the podcast where I distill a pearl of wisdom for you in the form of a helpful life tip. Okay. If you're feeling depressed, kind of lonely, like there's no point in life, do yourself a favor and don't share it with the cop who just pulled you over for an illegal left turn. All that's going to do is get you a drug test, a cavity search, and a court-appointed social worker. And that's today's tip. You can thank me by going to ratethispodcast.com/Hookblast and leaving me a 5-star rating and a review about what you like about the show. Both things.
Mr. Limo Driver.
This next song is dedicated to artist John Doyle's former girlfriend who dumped him for a limousine driver. I know something about getting dumped. I went through a really bitter breakup a long time ago. Oh, and believe me, my ex still misses me sometimes. But over time, her aim has gotten better and better, and more of the eggs keep hitting me in the head. And this is Mr. Limo Driver.
Limo Driver looks so debonair in his 3-piece suit, waiting for his fare. But you're just an average guy, and you will be till you die, Mr. Limo Driver. Mr. Limo Driver. That's how you spend your day, watching other people play. Hey, hey.
That's John Doyle with Mr. Limo Driver. Oh, okay, and now for something a little unusual on the show. It's a bluegrass ballad with an unlikely story. It's about a guy driving home after an all-night party who runs into a coyote he thinks can talk. I had the exact same thing happen to me. It wasn't a coyote, and it wasn't after an all-night party. It was just my wife telling me I'd missed a loop with my belt.
Well, I put it in gear and started to leave. That's when it happened. Well, I do believe it started to talk. Well, I couldn't shut him up, just kept on talking about all kinds of things. Well, he talked about his sorry life and how he had a wife who ran off with a German Shepherd. One of his daughters married a cat, and well, you know all about that. Now the den's up to Sears and kitty litter.
Okay, the Hookblast Podcast is sponsored by Music Xray. Music Xray wants to help musicians get their music to the right decision makers in the industry, and you're guaranteed a listen and a response from the professionals that you submit songs to, or your money back. Upon your first transaction, Music Xray will show you a success prediction score, so you know the likelihood of your specific song getting a deal. Yeah, new users can apply promo code Hookblast21 at checkout. Okay, bringing up the rear on the show today is a song by Manu Francois. Also, bringing up the rear is a special kind of cosmetic surgery. Actually, I think it's technically called a butt lift. Wait, no, technically it's called gluteal augmentation. But I don't even know why we're talking about this. Do you? Where was I? Oh yeah, this is A Way for Both Our Ways.
We come from different places, grew in different worlds. There's beauty in our differences, and now we come together to build a home. Feel the push and pull, we tangle, but that's something that we must see through. Cause I want to live my life with you in it, so we're not finished until we're brimming. The way I feel when we're together, living intent on giving is what I'm down to do. So come, let's make some moves. I said if you got a way and I've got a way, then maybe we can make a way for both our ways. I said if you got a way and I've got a way, yeah, then maybe we can make a way for both our ways. I said
that song was fully self-produced in Manu Francois' home studio in New Zealand. I know what it's like to have a home studio in New Zealand. Well, not in New Zealand. And technically not at home, because I record these in the office now. Okay, well, that's all the time we have for episode 79 on the Hookblast Podcast. Please share this episode with someone in your life who can use a few new catchy songs in theirs. Or someone who lives on a deserted island, but with a great Wi-Fi connection. You know who they are. All songs are used with the permission of the rights holders, and don't forget to remember to tune back in next week for a fresh batch of new hooks. And maybe a gardening tip or two. Bye-bye.
Maybe we can make